on how to create the cards. So here we go. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Here are the super cute, woofing cute canine cards. I've got a couple of gift card holders and just a greeting card. So greets and treats. And you are going to see, as I said, some of my tools from the vault. I always hold on to anything that's canine related, any tool or stamp set. So if you are interested in getting the card class so that you can create the cards, here is the host code that you need to use up here. And it just needs to be a $35 order online using that host code. Here's where you go shopping. So let's get started with card number 1. Eek! Out in the graveyard, I've got the cute little dog from the, let's see what it's called. That is from the Pets Dies. And this was a cute little dog set from years ago. We are going to be using some die cuts, some ribbons. This is all based on the Them Bones designer series paper that's in the current mini catalog. And I'm also using a die cut from the Conversation Bubbles. So no worries if you don't have these die cuts and cutting tools. Everything is going to be punched and prepped for you, so you will be able to create just like I have here. So I'm going to get started with a basic gray card base, which is a standard size, and it's scored right down the middle. I always like to pre-score that so it's easier to fold the card and burnish. And this is just an eek. I'll show you the inside as well. So basic gray, it's going to go on a layer of Cajun Craze. And I'm going to use a piece of the super cute designer series paper. This is the Graveyard, Tomb, Sweet Tomb, and Creep It Real. And inside it's going to be Trick or Treat with the little rest in peace signal sign and the ghost. So how cute is that? And it's all very easy to assemble. As I said, it's all been nearly completed for you. I am going to adhere, and I'm using my favorite flat adhesive, and I am using the brush tip on the Tombow liquid glue. I have 2 here because I have accumulated many bottles that have a little bit of glue left in them, and what I tend to find is that once my glue will no longer dispense from the pen tip, I can stand it up, have it flow to the brush tip, and I still have a great supply of liquid glue. And so I have about, I don't know, 20 bottles that are standing up, just waiting to be used. You can see I just put a little bit of glue around the perimeter of the paper, and on this side, it kind of looks like a herringbone pattern. However, those are bats in there. So Stampin' Up! Has made this paper super fun. Always 2 sides to the paper, and sometimes it's hard to choose what side. You might want that gray and black pattern as a little accent, or you might want to set the scene with the graveyard, which I've done here. And I'm just adhering that. What I love about this, the liquid glue, you know, is that I can still shift it if it hasn't dried and it didn't land in the right spot. I can just kind of push it into position and it works out very easily. These cards are very simple to create, simple, crisp, and easy. And I'm going to add this to the card base. The colors were taken straight from the designer series paper, Them Bones. And I don't know, I asked earlier this week, if you send Halloween or create Halloween, do you tend to create the greetings or the treats? And I think I got a varied response. Let's see if you're out there listening. What do you think? Would you rather receive a greeting, a Halloween greeting, or would you rather receive a Halloween treat? Because in this class, I'm making both. So this is the greeting, and it can be for the dog, or it can be just from the dog, or it could be both. I mean, Fergus and Jean may just well send Maddie and Milo a little Halloween greeting. That would work out really nicely. All right, let's create the focal point, and the focal point I've already pre-die cut. This is the little dog from the Pets dies from several years ago, and I pre-cut it in basic black. And your kit will include the die cut. So I can send die cuts. I cannot send stamped images per Stampin' Up policy. Now I did dress up the little doggy. He has a basic black and very vanilla, large checked bow. And I created the little bow already. I'm just gonna secure that onto the puppy with a mini glue dot, and I like to just take my glue dot, I see one right here, take my bow or my ribbon right up to the glue dot. That way I don't have to get that glue dot on my fingers, because in the battle with the glue dots, the glue dot will win. And I'm just going to kind of put that on at an angle. And I'm going to go ahead and secure him onto the card front. And today I'm using my black mini dimensionals. I don't know if you have had a chance to try out the black. I love the black mini dimensionals. It gives you two sizes for one thing. You get the standard size and you get the minis. And they work awesome for when you have dark, either dark die cuts, punches, colors, or designer series papers. They work perfectly for those dark colors. And I love the minis. You get to use lots of them all over. I don't know, sometimes are you a mini user or do you like the standard size? Sometimes I think the job warrants a standard size, but I really like that the mini goes far. The minis go far. All right, I'm going to put the little puppy. He's looking at the Tomb, Sweet Tomb headstone. He just gets propped down. And even though the designer series paper already has bats, I'm going to make it more, I'm going to add more depth, more dimension. I'm going to take a little scrap of basic black, and I'm going to bring in one of my Halloween punches from the past. This is bats, 3 different sizes in different positions, and I kind of like that smaller, more narrow bat. I'm just going to punch him, and of course you get a little bit of rubbish as well. So there's my cute bat, and that mini dimensional is going to work out perfectly as well. So, and I think I just need one. I'm just going to go with one. This one's going to go over the Creep It Real headstone, tombstone. There we go. We are almost done. Of course, the puppy, when he sees the little eek, or sees the little bat, he's going to scream eek. I'm going to stamp that eek on a conversation bubble. These were some of my favorite dies not too long ago. And I'm going to borrow the little greeting from the Tricks and Treats stamp set. Just that small eek. It fits perfectly on this little conversation bubble. And I'm going to stamp in Tuxedo Memento Black. I already have my stamp pre-mounted on an acrylic block. This is block A. And I do like to use the blocks, the smaller blocks, as opposed to a larger, because you struggle a little bit more inking up correctly. Now, this one's photopolymer. You can see right through it. That's how you know what type of stamp it is. Photopolymer likes to be stamped on some cush, so I'm going to bring in, let's see, well, I'm going to bring in my piercing mat. However, that piercing mat must have had little feet. Let me grab another. Here we go. And I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to put my speech bubble right there. And I'm going to share with you one thing that I like to do. The Memento Black sometimes doesn't stamp as dark and as vibrant as I would like. So what I found is a good solution is to first stamp with the Versamark. So that's going to give it a nice tacky surface. I'm going to stamp the ink first in a Versamark and then in the Tuxedo Black. It's going to grab a little bit more ink that way. And I love the photopolymer. You can see right through. Make sure that you're stamping onto your speech bubble exactly where you want it to go. And the ink comes up a little bit more vibrant than it would if you just stamped from the ink pad. All right, now this one's going to go right onto the headstone. And again, I'm going to grab a mini dimensional and I'm going to pop this. Looks like I'm having issues. Hopefully I haven't lost you. Yikes. I'm going to bring that over. All right. All right, everything's good. What I'm looking at, my screen is refreshing. I hope everything's working out okay for you. I'm really struggling today with the technology. I haven't come on in so long consistently, and this is one of the reasons why I did switch up my network or my Wi-Fi provider. Hope I didn't make a mistake in switching over. Thank you, Corinne. Corinne says it's cute. I think dogs are just, these dogs in particular are just adorable, and with the bats, but we're not done yet. Let's go ahead and do the inside. And let's see. The inside, as I said, it's going to say trick or treat. I've got the cute little ghost and then the little headstone symbols from the Tricks and Treats stamp set. And I'm going to do the same here. First, I'm going to ink up in Versamark. So there's a question, does it take the ink longer to dry when using Versamark with the ink? I don't think so. I think it's pretty instantaneous. We'll give it a try after I stamp up. I suppose you could always heat set, but I'm going to try. I'm going to ink up. We'll do our little science experiment, and I'm going to try and center that there and press down firmly. And I'm going to smudge it, and it's dry. Look, it didn't even smudge. So it's quick drying, very quick. No smudging, no smearing going on there. I'm also going to add my little trio of headstones. Grabbing the Versamark first, and sorry if my hands are crossing right across the project. And this is going to go right below the Trick or Treat. And right there. And if it did smudge, all I was going to do was flip it over. Ma'am says yay. All right. My goodness, it must be my Wi-Fi in-house that's a little bit wonky because I keep seeing the screen refreshing. Hopefully this is going to record just fine, because if you come in late or have to leave early, the theory is that you can click right over to my YouTube channel, Just Stamp with Anna Marie, and catch the replay. And you can actually edit out either the chat before and after, or you can put it on a faster speed, which I tend to do a lot. All right, my next step is just going to be to add my insert. And again, I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm using the brush tip because I have so many bottles I can use up. And I've learned some other little tips on getting the most from these. Oh, thank you, Pam. I'm happy to hear that there are no problems on the other end. It must just be in-house. Anyway, I've got other tips on how to get all your liquid glue out of the container, because I have a feeling I've got lots more glue than I thought I had in those bottles. This is just going to go straight down, and I'm going to flip it over and burnish. And sometimes I do like to burnish it so it makes contact all the way through with the bone folder. And by flipping it over, you're not going to smudge the ink if it wasn't dry for some reason, and we just did our trick. With the Versamark, it's still fast drying, so it's going to work out perfectly. And so there's our first card, eek, from the little canine in the graveyard with the bats and the headstones. Super cute. It's a great greeting for the dog or from the dog. Card number 1. All right, let's continue on. And my next card, let's see, is going to be a gift card holder. So this would be a treat. And it features, you know, my favorite dog punch, that Scotty dog. I have a couple just in case. I never want to be without that Scotty punch. So super cute. And again, I'm using the Them Bones Designer Series paper for my background. And let's see what we've got here. All the fixings for the card. If you're getting the class to go, you will get a tutorial, PDF tutorial. So you will have all measurements and the step-by-step as well. So this card, it's a gift card holder. So it says Boo, and when you open it up, again, trick or treat. And this is a little pocket you can slip the gift card into. So you could do either like a pet gift card to buy some treats, or you can get a human treat, like that Starbucks card. And so let's get started. It's a basic black card base. This one uses the very nice plaid paper with the pumpkin and the Cajun craze, little black background. This is going to go on flat. Now, the back side is cute as well, right? Because it's hard to choose sometimes. It would have gone cute this side too, but I just think Scotty's and plaid or tartan go so nicely together. I went straight for that tartan print. All right, and again, liquid glue, and I try to avoid going right up to the edge. That way I won't have a hot, gooey mess with the glue going on. And that's going to be centered right onto the black. And I have pre-punched a black Scotty. However, you could also take directly from the black layer. So I'll show you what I mean. Sometimes we tend to waste paper. So look, just by taking the Scotty from that layer, it's going to be covered up anyway. So I've got an extra Scotty dog there. And then I use the paper that says Boo and Eek on it. It almost looks like computer type. Very cute. And then we have bones on the flip side, which would have been perfect too. What do you think? Should I use, I think maybe you better use those bones. Ah, too cute. What do you think? I love the Cajun craze color. Look at that. Either one will work, right? But more apropos, I think, with the little bones on the flip side. And we've already got the Boo going on. So I think I'm going to be a a rebel and use the flip side. So let me put my liquid glue. Look at that. Sometimes things, you notice things by accident. Corinne says the bones. I totally agree, Corinne. Now, here I have to be a little bit careful because I've already punched that Scotty and I might have glue in there. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm not working on my card base. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing in my silicone mat so that I can press down, and I can tweak it a little bit because it looks a little bit uneven. Better. And if I do have any glue going on, it hit the silicone mat instead of my paper, so I don't have a sticky mess going on. Move my ink pads out of the way, and I'm going to bring in that very pretty whiter black and vanilla big check ribbon. I love this gingham ribbon, and I am going to do a bow around this layer. I have way more ribbon than I need, which is a good thing. And I'm going to make this nice big loop. So I'm bringing this in, and I know I'm going to want it all the way to the end. So you're going to watch me tie a bow. I like to have it nice and tight when I get to my point, I want the bow, the ribbon to be turned almost at 90-degree angles without any extra twists and turns. I'm going to bring down the top and bring up the bottom, and this is going to be a vertical bow, so that works nicely. And I am going to trim off maybe a tiny bit here. I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors and trim that off. There we go. And that's about where I want it, I think. I could still wiggle it around and bring it up a little bit. I'm going to build my focal point first. So I'm going to bring in my stylish shape. This is the second largest circle in basic white. I love the stylish shapes with this little stitching. Now there are some new circles in the mini catalog, the deckled circles, which are also very nice. But I love that stitching detail. So this is the one I'm going to use on this project. And I am going white on white. Let's see if I've got some basic white standard dimensionals. Look at that. I'm trained. Basic white, not just white, but basic white. That is too funny. I think in Stampin' Up colors. Do you do that too? It's not just red, it's real red. It's not just orange, it's pumpkin pie. It's basic black. All of those things. Okay, so I'm giving this some nice support with lots of standard size dimensionals on the backing. We're going to put this down, and it's going to go up to that bow and about 1/2 inch from the base. There we go. I'm going to bring in my little black Scotty that I already punched, and I'm going to need my black dimensionals for the black on black. And again, I'm going to do some nice support. So several of the minis, and you get, oh my gosh, you get so many mini dimensionals. These are the best. So I'm getting a little bit of black dimensionals here. And then I'm going to bring in my little Scotty. And I'm going to add a pumpkin pie bow. Came straight from the punch. And I'm just going to punch that out. This is going to go on flat. So I can just add a little dot and put that right on. We are going to add our boo right up above, and I do want to add some support to that. I'm going to bring in that, the lettering is quite slim. This, and by the way, the die cut came from the Tricks and Treats bundle. And the lettering is kind of narrow, so I'm going to use the edge, the perimeter of the dimensionals. And it's nice and thin. I'm going to put some down. Let's see, that's about right. How about you? Do you use every last bit of your dimensionals? Do you use the edging? I just will use every last scrap I can. And I'm going to trim that down, and this will be nice for the O's. The cool thing is that it's black on black. So if it's a little bit long, and it is, so I'm going to trim that off and then add a second support right through here. And there's my boo with the 3 little, you know what Stampin' Up needs to do, we have the dimensional sheets, but not in black. So these are great, those are great for die cutting. And let's see, I'm gonna bring this up around there. So we've got our boo going on. Now this goes onto my card base, again with dimensionals. So I'm gonna grab a nice support going on here. And I'm going to use mini because I can. These are the minis instead of the standard. And I could have just grabbed, the black package does include standard dimensionals as well. So you get the minis and you get the standard size. I just happen to have the minis at the ready, so that's what I'm using, and I can use mini without feeling wasteful. Hundreds, there's probably hundreds of dimensionals in there. All right, so here we go. I am loving the little bones background. There we go. And we're not done yet. We won't embellish yet. Inside, we are going to create a little pocket with the DSP, and I'm going to use, see if I can use my pen tip or my thin tip here. And I'm just going to put adhesive on 3 sides, and again, the tiniest bit on 3 sides because we want to make this a pocket. I'll set that aside so I don't get, and it goes right flush at the base of the basic white, which is going to go inside. When we have a dark card base, I like to put in a basic white insert. Now I'm going to put my little gift card in here. This is actually a credit card, same size, but this gives you the little stretch so that you know your gift card will slip in easily. Yeah. And we want to stamp our greeting again. Let me bring back in my piercing mat. And before I dip my stamp into the Versamark, I am going to clean that stamp. It has a little residual black from the last inking. So I'm going to clean that off. And we are going to do the same. First, we're going to stamp in Versamark. Then I'm going to stamp in black. And this is going to go towards the top. So we have a little bit of space. You know what? I think I forgot to use my ghost on the last card. Let's use it on this one. Trick or treat. Let's put in the cute little ghost. Again, this one's more solid. I don't know where to put my pads. More solid image, so that Versamark is going to be very helpful in getting a nice inking. And let's put him right there. It looks like Casper, right? Do you remember Casper, the friendly ghost? There he is. All right, so there is our stamping. All that's left to do is insert this into our card. This is flat adhered, and I'm going to use my brush tip. Oh, it looks like I picked up a couple of dimensional backings as well. Let's see if I can flick those out of there. There we go. And this will get centered right inside. We can insert the little treat and sign the card. Trick or treat. I'm going to take that out. And there we go. There is card number 2. Oh, let me finish off. Trim that little ribbon. It's got a little bit of frayed edging on it. I'm using my ribbon scissors to cut. And if your bow is not staying vertically like you want it to, you could always put some little glue dots behind it and make it do what you want. I'm going to trim that down too. And I'm going to add my little bling if I can find it here. These are the adhesive backed sparkle gems, and they're very cool, very sparkly in white and black. Really nice sparkle. And let's see, I'm going to use my take your pick. I'm going to grab black, put it right in the bow center, and then add a couple more. Sparkle right in there. And so there is our second card, the treat or gift card holder. And we have 2 versions, one with the bones, which I think is perfect, and one with the boo and eek. And of course inside, trick or treat or a treat. All right, so card number 2. And of course, if you decide that you would like this kit, Everything's going to be pre-die cut and punched for you. Oh, thank you, Corinne. Corinne says cute. I think that that's the the name of the game today with the canine cards. Super cute. We have one more to do, and I'm going to have a couple of projects to share with you as well. Let me tidy up here. All right, so let's see. My third project is another treat holder, a gift card holder. This one says Boo, and you can see it's a little ghost, or actually it's a little dog wearing his ghost costume. And last night when I turned out the lights, this card happened to be at the top of my desk, and this is the glow-in-the-dark paper, which is just amazing. Super cute. I've just die cut Ghost from the Tricks and Treat bundle. You open it up. We've got trick or treat. We've got some candy corn going on there, and another gift card holder. We've got a little notch there so we can insert a gift card, and you can see, the recipient can see there's a card inside. And let me share with you how I created that. We are going to start. I see let me tidy up here. I'm getting a little bit messy. Let me put my adhesives back in position. There we go, that's better. All right, so we have a Cajun Craze card base. And I am going to score that. I'm going to bring out all the pieces. I'm going to score that first at the 5.5 inch mark. So this is the 4 1/4 by 11 cut, and I'm going to score right in the middle. So let's see. Let me get the ink out of the way. We're going to score at the half mark of the front, which would be 2 3/4. There we go. So that scoring's done. I'm going to fold that inward so we can create a little pocket for the gift card holder. And it's going to go down, and so I'm just going to burnish to make sure that it's down to size. I'm going to create the little notch so that you can see it's a gift card holder. And I'm using the 1 3/8 inch punch right now. Almost any punch from an inch up will work to create the notch. And that is that. So the front side, whoops, kind of bent down. The front side is designer series paper. Now I'm using that herringbone pattern again, and you can see the cute bats as well. The flip side are the skeletons. So I could have used, again, either side. I love the sophisticated herringbone pattern. So I'm going to put this on the card front. And again, liquid glue, not quite to the edge. I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch, maybe, border there. And my inside layer is going to be white, and I'm going to put another herringbone. And what I want to do, I want to make sure that this is in position. So see how I want this to be abutted. So what I'm going to do, I am going to put it at the edge, and then I'm going to trim off the white. So you'll see what I mean in a bit. That just means I'm going to make that white layer a little bit smaller. And sometimes the paper doesn't have to be cut right to measurement. You can always tweak it. I'm going to chop off a bit to bring in my little mini chopper. And I'm going to start off with about, let's see how I'm not very precise, about 1/8 of an inch off. And let's see, let's give it a try. I'm going to put it in position there and see if this is about right. And I still want it to be over, so that'll work. I just need to straighten that out. That's going to work for me, makes me happy. Let me go ahead and add that. Before I do that, and actually maybe I should have done that first. Let me go ahead and stamp, because because I always like to stamp first, just in case. Oh, wrong one. So just in case, let me slide this over. If things don't go right, you can always flip the paper over and try again. And I am going to put this a little bit high, kind of centered. We're going to be adding treats inside. So trick or treat. And I'm ready to add that to the inside. Flat adhesive. Right, like so. And I'm going to be, again, I'm going to close that door, that panel, and come right in and make sure that it's aligned to my liking. Now, this is handmade, so I'm not going to fret if it's not perfect, but I do want to try my best. Now I'm struggling to get it in there, so let's see. Again, this is what's awesome about the liquid glue, because if I had put seal on here, once it touches or makes contact with the paper, it's down. There we go. So there is the interior. All I need to do is create the pocket by adding a little bit of glue, again, liquid glue, and you could use tear and tape as well. And I'm just going to put it down the two sides, top and bottom, create the pocket so that my gift card can be slipped inside. There's the card base. Now we just need to decorate, so let's bring in some of my die cuts and some of my designer paper. I have a Cajun Craze layer, and I've got a layer of white, and I just wanted this to frame out the designer series paper. I don't know, what do you think? Do I need that white layer in there, or do you like it without it? So there it is, just matted directly to the Cajun Craze. I kind of liked that white layer. It just kind of peeks out. It's ever so slight. So the paper, the white layer is just like 1/8 of an inch bigger than the designer series paper. And you can see the difference. I like it there, so it's a personal choice. Again, I'm going to add this with liquid glue. And it goes, yeah, Corinne says with. I think that tiny bit of white just makes it pop a little bit more. Exactly, Pam, you and I are thinking alike. It makes it pop just that tiny bit more. And this paper is super cute. And you can see from my original that I have a different snippet of the designer paper. On my original, I have that nice moon. On this one, I had a different clipping from the paper, but it's all going to work out, right? It's going to be okay. This then goes onto the Cajun Craze, and again, flat adhesive. And I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the glue, or sorry, out of the ink, out of the glue as well. There we go. And again, there's my layer, and I'm going to turn that over and burnish it so that it sticks. And there we go. And that helps too, so that if there were any glue to ooze out, it wouldn't come out on your hands and on the front. So this then goes onto our card base. However, we only want adhesive along the left side. So here's how I help myself. What I do is just put a little bit of the liquid glue here on the panel, and then also on the layer itself. And I'm going to bring it back in and center it to where I want. That ensures that I didn't get any glue past the midpoint. There we go. And so when you open up, there you go. So all clean, no glue, ready to go. We're going to continue on. I'm really liking this. So we have the dog. Since it's trick or treat night, he is going to be dressed as a ghost. And the ghost was cut from that cool glow in the dark paper that truly does glow in the dark. It's pretty fun. And I'm just going to do a little bit of liquid glue. Slip it on that cute little canine. And I'm going to bring in my mat just in case. He is going to, now this little ghost is very snug on the puppy. You can see it's a little bit short, but I think it's super cute. What do you think? Let me see if I can bring it down a tiny bit so I have a black eye behind as well. There we go. All right, so he is placed onto the card front. Oops. Please have a little bit of the puppy peeking through. There we go. He is placed onto the card front with black dimensionals. So, and I'm going to give him lots of support right through here. And there. He is going to come down in here. Now he's going to be positioned a little bit differently since I don't have that cool moon in the background. We're going to put the boo here still. And we can put him in here. We could create a moon on our own as well. And you know what? Maybe I could do that. Let me grab a punch. And I need a little scrap of white. And let's see. I'm just going to punch one little, now this is like a 1 1/4 inch punch. He's going to come right in here. So we still have our moon. That'll work out perfectly. And I'm going to adhere. Put the moon right there. And I think we need a bat over the moon. So let me bring back in my bat punch. And I should have a scrap of black floating around here someplace. Well, and again, I'm going to go for that smaller bat. Oh, I actually got two, so let's see. Do we want the bigger bat? I think the bigger bat might be kind of fun. He has a wider wingspan, or we have one that's a little bit closer to the original. I think I like the bigger one, so let's go with the bigger bat. And we'll get him on with a dimensional. Oh, I might even use a couple. There we go. And some of these backings sometimes just want to fight. All right, so it's going to be a little bit low on the moon. And I'm going to do the same as I did earlier. Grab my paper snips and grab a small snippet of the perimeter of the dimensionals. Right along the B. it right there. All right, so now let's go ahead and add our Boo. Right in here. And we're almost done. We just need to work the inside. And the inside are the treats, those little candy corns. Those candy corns were created from the die cuts in the Tricks and Treats bundle. And I cut in pumpkin pie. I cut the tips, this candy corn, in white. And then the base of the candy is in Daffodil Delight. And all of it's going to be adhered with liquid glue. Very easy to build a candy corn. Who out there is a fan of candy corn? The waxy candy that looks so cute, but now normally I love candy, but I think sometimes I can resist the candy corn. As I said, it's super cute for decoration and in little cello bags, but it's one candy that I don't have to devour. What do you think? Are you a candy corn fan? Put anything with chocolate and nuts in front of me, and that I can't resist. Add a little caramel. Yeah, Pam says not a fan either, but it's so cute. It's perfect. In some place I was going to read the history of the candy corn. Who thought of candy corn anyway? All right, let's put it in the insert, put it on the insert, and it's just kind of random, no particular order, just however we want. Let's see how we did it in the original. Oh, Corinne says she likes candy corn. There we go. So Corinne, maybe just one or two, maybe the sweetness of one or two. It's not, there are some candies that if you put a candy bowl in front of me, I would have to eat the entire bowl. I might grab one candy corn and I'm done, which is good. So these candy corn, they are peanuts. That's actually pretty good. Mixed with peanuts, yeah. As are M&Ms that way as well, or popcorn. There we go. I just want to make sure the candy corn is behind the focal point here. So you know what? You're right, Corinne or Pam. In the popcorn mixture, I have had that. It's a nice little treat, like when you're watching movies instead of straight up popcorn mixed in with candy corn. You get a little bit of the salty and the sweet. Maybe that's what I like about it. All right, so we have our candy corn treats. You can insert a gift card for the dog or from the dog, like maybe a little coffee treat or a pet shop treat. There we go. But we're not done. We have, of course, some embellishments that we need to add. And I'm going to bring back in those adhesive back sparkle gems. And let's put a little twinkle in this dark and scary night. And what you get two sizes on these gems. Very cute. Larger and smaller ones. Put 3 on the front. So Boo from the Canine Dressed as a Ghost. And that is card number 3 from our paw stamped Greets and Treats card class. I'll say that 3 times. And I have a couple of different versions here. I like that I have options now. And that and this. So if you decide you would like to make the cards with me, you will get the kit to make each of the cards that we made today. And we're not done. Thank you, Corinne. We're not done. I want to show you a couple more options that I created. Still with the punches and die cuts out of the vault. So, okay, let's see. I've got one, which is a card in a box. There we go. So this one is for the cat lover, canine lover, the ghost. They're in the pumpkin patch. There's bats going on. And of course, they're set against the moon with that haunted mansion. It will fold down to put it into a standard size envelope. So trick or treat, card in a box, super fun to make, very easy to make as well. And still featuring the Them Bones paper. And one more treat for the canine is the little dog bones cello bag. And this is actually one of our translucent envelopes. I just scored at 3/4 of an inch in to create a little pleat and a little support backing. You can see our little dog punch as well, saying treat. The bones are in the background. And again, still using that gingham check. Thank you, Pam. So sweet. I had fun creating these cards from the canine. And if you caught what I said in the beginning, this is the first in a mini series. We are going to be making paw stamped cards once a month for all the occasions and the basic occasions as well. So I hope that you continue to join me. Thank you so much for joining me, for persevering in my technical challenges earlier. I have no idea why I couldn't press the go live button. Oh, thank you. You're so welcome, Corinne. I'm glad that you joined me tonight. And I will see you next week for the craft along with the fun fold. I hope you can join me then. And in the meantime, have fun stamping for the holidays. This is the best time of the year. I love making all of the fall and winter projects. It's really starting to feel like that magical time of year again. And I'm so glad that you are here to join me. I will see you next week, guys.